My name is Neelay Patel. I'm the owner and designer at Silver Silk & More, and I have all of this stuff set out. And I'm going to be using beads, of course, from the Jesse James Beads mix that is in my kit, Path to Patagonia. Look at all those gorgeous little beads. You get some great lampwork beads, you get some boho beads, you get these cool vintage lampwork beads. Really just a great collection. A little waterfall tassel. Lots of check glass in there. You get these really cool components and these fabulous little bears that I just adore. Aren't they just so cute? Love it. So, I want to make a bracelet tonight. I'm just going to need a few tools. First is my magical crimpers that look like this. Then you'll need a pair of cutters, which look like this. So this is from Xuron, but I know Softflix carries an amazing pair as well. I just have a beading all handy in case I need it. And then I've got capture chain, of course, which I'll be using tonight. My terminators, which came in the kit, that look like this, of course. So I'll need a pair of those. And then I've got some crimps. These are the 2mm copper crimps by Softflix wire. And I don't use any other crimps. This is the way to go if you're looking for something high quality, thick wall crimps that really grasp onto that beading wire when you're making a crimp. Work exceptionally well with the magical crimpers too. So I highly recommend it. All right, you can go ahead and get out a foot of wire. You don't need much. We're gonna make a bracelet tonight. Last week I made a necklace on the Silver Silk & More Facebook page, and today we're gonna make a little bracelet. This works really well with Softflix wire because of the flexibility aspect of it. So I highly recommend trying this technique with Softflix wire. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and string one side onto, or string a crimp onto my beading wire. And let's see if I can go back. Really, I should have my clasp on here. Let's do this. I'm gonna go ahead and attach my clasp onto one side. And then, let's see. There we go. I was grabbing my chain nose pliers here. There we go. The goal of this bead tour is to try and use only the components from the kit. So if I have a couple other things which I don't have on in the kit, like the crimps, that's one thing, but I'm trying to use as many beads and components as I can from the crimp. All right, I'm just gonna go ahead and crimp it with my magical crimper. So you just basically stick it in that notch. You get this really nice little pillow shape that looks like this with the corners that are pinched in. Then you just turn it on its side and you give it another squeeze. And then you kind of just work it around. And what happens is that crimp compresses over the beading wire. And that way you get this nice little, sort of a little ball, if you will, a little spacer. It's okay if it's not super perfect, just you can kind of tuck it back into your crimpers and continue to kind of press it around. Then I'm just going to trim off that end, and I've got a nice secure crimp that looks like that. Just beautiful, right? So now I can get to the fun part, which is going to be working with my capture chain. I'm going to show you how to make some really cool sculptural waves with the knitted wire. Alright, I'm going to crimp one side of this, but it looks like I've got a little damaged area, so I'm going to cut that off first. I'm going to go ahead and stick in my end terminator here. Whoops. And ideally you want to use your chain, or your, what are these things called? The nylon jaw pliers. That's these guys right here. And only because I don't want my finding to get scratched. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and string this right through, or actually before I do that, no, I can do this, okay. You kind of make this up as you go along too, that's part of the fun in this technique. So, go ahead and string it right through, just like, I want to create this fantastic magical little loop that goes like this. So what I'm gonna do is kind of measure out my loop the size that I want it to be, and I could definitely compare it around my bead. So it's about yay big. What I'm going to do is make sure that my wire goes up through that side first. So let's see if I can kind of give it a nice little push. Whoops, just like that. It'll twist around, so that's perfect. That's exactly what I want it to do. And you can see that my loop is already there. Now I can pick up my bead, just like that, and I can basically just string it right through the middle of the loop that I just created. Now, hopefully all that made sense, but I'll probably do that a couple more times as I string my way through this bracelet. So there we go. So now I can go ahead and, again, it's all about sculpting that knitted wire. So it looks like I want my wire to kind of hit right there. So I can just basically mark it with my finger and then just go right up through it. It feels good as far as what kind of beads and stuff you want to use, but you can absolutely make these really curvy and cute and whatever you want to your heart's content. Let me do another loop real quick. So I just measure out, I put on my bead, measure out where I need to string my wire through, take my bead out, go ahead and push my wire through. Again, if you're having some trouble, use your beading awl. And just make yourself a little hole. Go ahead and string it through, just like that, very easy. Put your bead on and string it through. If you have a little bit of space, which it looks like mine does, lucky for us, there's a lot of different beads in the Jesse James Beads mix, so you can definitely just pick something else out and continue your design. So I'm going to string on a crimp, and I'm going to make a little loop. I'm going to do the same thing as we did before, just basically same steps here. Alright, you can, if you want to, go ahead and, let's see where it is. Yep, there it is. Hook your jump ring onto it, and then begin to tighten up the soft flex wire here. Here, grab your crimpers, your magical crimpers, stick it in that one notch, give it a good squeeze. Make sure it looks like a fluffy little pillow with tucked in corners, and then go ahead and stick it in again and just kind of rotate your pliers. You should start to see a little bead form. You could really tell this if you definitely tuck on it and make sure that it's not going to come apart. Otherwise, you just clip that through, just like that. And what you can do here, ooh, wouldn't this make a nice necklace, you guys? Like if I just left it as such with the string on. Another idea, just saying. All right, what I'm going to do is actually cut this right over here. I want to make sure that I leave at least 2 of the ball chain intact for when I put my little cap on. They're just going to tuck very nicely right inside there. And then just give it a press with your nylon jaw pliers. And you've got a very stylish bracelet, you guys. We learned how to use soft flex wire, just integrate it so beautifully with silver silk, and using the gorgeous palette of Jesse James beads into this stunning bracelet design that I am so excited and happy about. Look at that. It retains the structure and beauty, you guys. What other materials do that? Until next time, guys, I hope you left creative, inspired, and energized, and I will see you again. I love all of you so much, and have a great evening.